fort there in the old days was dug up because of the amount of controversy that we've had here this year. But you know, even with the last day with Benny Coulter putting the ball into the net when he was obviously in the square, so it has changed the whole face of the championship, the Canal End goals. But you know, we've had brilliant football up to now. I think it's been a great year for football, and the minor game and the two semi-finals and the final have shown, you know, Gaelic football in a better light than probably for a decade, and hopefully we'll get a senior game that will brighten up a very dull, damp day. Well, it is dull and damp, but I suppose it hasn't gotten any worse. It's gotten slightly better weather-wise, but still a bit of a mist.
It's a bit surprising because, I mean, if Owen O'Gara had been able to take advantage against the Dubs that day, I mean, Dublin would most certainly have won the game. They would have been so far ahead coming near the end, you know, and Graham was virtually a passenger throughout the game. And as you saw from the Henry Shefflin thing, first of all, it can be a huge distraction to a team, but secondly, nothing can prepare you for the intensity of this. I mean, I remember in the All-Ireland, you know, or big championship matches, you know yourself, lads, the ball's thrown in, you feel you can't breathe for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and 5 minutes in you're thinking, there's no way I'm going to be able to survive this because of the absolutely high octane intensity, and you just can't protect injuries in that situation.
Okay, let's hear from one of the down players hoping to collect.
Fantastic to be here, and it's where I suppose ultimately every down footballer wants to be. You know, a lot of us do remember the 91 and 94 teams, and obviously we'll look on and on at the 60s teams as well. And the likes of Paddy Doherty and Sean O'Neill's of this world will still be at the games and we'll still be talking them after. So, you know, those guys are legends, and we just hope to write our own wee bit of history now. We had a good National League, albeit we were beat by Armagh in the final in Croke Park, but it was a good National League. We went through the league, the rounds of it unbeaten. You know, our promotion to Division 1 is where you want to be and playing your football. So I suppose, you know, when you go home to your family, and my own father, who would be a bit of a critic too, he would say, listen, there's definitely something in that team and you're going well. So I guess the people that you trust would obviously say, yes, you see a difference in the team and you see potentials. I suppose our record's impeccable because we haven't been there that much. But yes, as a player, I don't want to be the first to take away from our record. When it comes to a final, there's pressure of any degree. You have to go and win a final. That's what they're there for, to win. Nice, ugly, whatever way you want to put it. For my family, it will be, you can't describe it, you know, it will be the proudest moment of my life. Something that I want to do as well, because nobody from Salva's ever won an All-Ireland before, so I want to make sure I take Sam home to Salva as well. Somebody says to me, what's pressure? And you know, I suppose pressure is something you put in tires, but that's maybe the way we look at it. But there's always nerves, but you know, I would like to think that it spurs me on a wee bit more, and after the first 2 or 3 minutes it wouldn't be long sorting out in Croke Park. I really look forward to the game, and it's where I want to be, and I just know where all the old boys want to be at this time of the year, and it's great to be there.
As Porrick Joy said here on this programme a little bit earlier, pressure is for tyres. You were talking about the transformation in Danny Hughes since last year.
Well, I mean, people for years have been describing him as a footer and a solo runner. I mean, I remember against Wicklow last year, they just looked a total rabble, and it shows you the difference when you've got a manager who's got a very clear vision. Now, you see Danny Hughes, he plays the doer role for down. He knows exactly what his job is. He's very happy and he's thriving at that. He's tackling back. He understands exactly what his role is. So now, whenever a player doesn't know what his role is, the tendency is to just try harder and to be sort of aimless on the field. You watch Down 12 months ago, you would say there's absolutely no chance in the world they'll win an All-Ireland final. Yet a manager comes in, introduces a platform that allows players to play.
A manager and his backup team, like Brian McIver, former Donegal manager, is there with him as well, and a highly regarded coach.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course Paddy Talley, who trained Tyrone to win the All-Ireland as well. So, like what James McCartan has done, and what every good manager should do, is they bring in talented people to help them, especially in the speciality areas like physical fitness and, you know, in terms of player organisation. So the best managers are not afraid to give people who they think that are better than themselves a role in the team. The bad manager wants to do everything.
The whole lot himself, yeah. And in fairness to Conor Coonahan, he's in the same sort of light as that.
He has, but you know, the only thing about it is that I mean, a psychologist would have a field day today here, because you have a team full of self-belief when they arrive at the big stage and down, and you have a team like Cork who arrive at the big stage with self-doubt, and that's what seems to permeate their play all throughout this championship. It's like the shackles of fear, the fear of losing, the fear of never winning in All-Ireland. That's why they've adopted this game plan this year, this sort of negative in a way, but this safety first possession football, and it's born out of fear. And you know, sometimes I just think that a lot of the management in the J world, the coaches in the J world, you know, if they were with Christopher Columbus sailing to America, you know, they'd have landed at the Azores and they'd say, look, we've got far enough, you know, we won't take a chance going further. You saw it with the Cork Miners there, who got rid of the fear, got rid of the inhibition for the last couple of minutes and gave it a lash, you know. Dr. Eamon O'Shea, the Tipperary coach, he said, you know, about the Tipperary team, he said, don't feed them with too much information. Let the players express themselves. And if Cork are allowed to express themselves today, they'll win it.
Yeah, and in fairness to Christopher Columbus, he got off the boat. He got off the boat and said, "Hello, people of India." Let's head off to Joanne Cantwell. She is down pitchside with some people to talk to.
Thank you very much, Michael. Well, Kevin Walsh and Mickey Ned O'Sullivan are here with me. They've come down pitchside, even though their hearts were broken by Cork and Down this summer. Now, many people might think that it was the Dublin match that Cork nearly came a cropper in, but it was actually Limerick who pushed them closer, and Mickey Ned. So, Mickey Ned, what is the key to beating Cork?
Well, I think it's going to be a very, very tactical game. Down have developed a very, very efficient defensive system. The moment they lose the ball, their two wing forwards, their two midfielders close down the space in front of the full back line, which they want to protect. Now, if Cork have got to win today, they've got to forget playing the ball across the field. They've got to bypass it, get the ball in directly into the full forward line, where they have the full forward line that will trouble the down full back line. I think, secondly, they must get their matchups right. The right person on Benny Coulter and the right person on Marty Clark. And I think Cork will do it.
Who are the right people for Marty Clark and Benny Coulter?
I think Shields and Owen Cadigan.
OK, well, Kevin, everybody assumed that when your Sligo team went out of the hands of Down, that most of it was to do with the fact that you were still overcoming the Connacht final defeat. Did you know then, though, when you saw Down play so impressively against you, that they were potential All-Ireland champions?
Yeah, well, I go back to the league. I think they got 13 out of 14 points in the league against very good opposition. You know, I think they lost here then to Armagh in the league final, and you know, I think they found themselves 8 points to 3 up against Tyrone, playing against the breeze, and wherever they went to maybe a little bit defensive, was it lack of belief or whatever. But I've been watching them all year, and I just think that they're improving, and getting over the last 2 hurls is a huge thing for them. And I think coming into today, they'll have absolutely no fear whatsoever.
Do you think Down are going to win today?
I do. I think that their half forward line in particular, you know, there's not much said about them. And most kickouts, they like to win the breaking ball facing their own goal, and they're quite good at it. So the minute they get that, they're gone, and they put me on the back foot straight away. So I expect Down to come through today by 2 or 3 points.
Mickey Ned, you don't agree?
Well, I think it's an intriguing match, because you have the forum team of the championship Down against the most consistent team of the year, Cork. I would go for Cork because of their consistency, because they have greater depth and strength in the panel, which will be decisive 15 minutes into the second half.
OK, thanks a lot, lads. And take note, by the way, that both these men have tipped the teams that knocked their sides out of the championship.
That's absolutely right. Joanne Cantwell, thank you very much for that. OK, we're going to take you to a commercial break here at the moment. I need to take a break.
Equipped to deal with that this year. Plus, I mean, that expectation going out in most matches favourites this year, you know, it is tough to deal with sometimes. And you know, I think there's an unrealistic expectation out there, like that we should be winning games by more, and I think that probably is being disrespectful to the opposition. Like, I mean, Dublin, for example, were brilliant in this year's championship. The fact we're in an All-Ireland final, that was our goal after losing last year's final, to get there regardless of who we're playing. You know, these chances don't come around that often, and you know, we realise that we need to take this chance. But I mean, Down are going to be saying the exact same things to themselves. They're playing up in Ulster every year. Very hard to get out of there, and then, you know, if they go the backdoor route, it's a bit of a minefield as well. So we're treating this as a once-off game, and you know, if we prepare properly and we produce a good performance on the day, we feel that we're going to win.
That's the Cork goalkeeper Alan Quirk. Seen a couple of bad days here at Croke Park. Hopefully he's going to see, from his point of view, a good one today. One of the things about a Colin O'Rourke is, you know, you can't get away from the fact that you talk about the fact that Cork, and Pat was saying earlier on, you know, the fear factor in their play and all that, but they were here last year. They've had this experience, and there's nothing like playing in All-Ireland, as you know yourself, to come out the next year and say, listen, we know what the day is all about. Now, Down don't have that, no matter what you say about how they play.
That's right, and Cork, of course, you know, in fairness, in 89, 88 and 89 lost finals and came back the following 2 years, and a lot of the players would say, you know, that the experience, the bad experiences drove them on to have the good experiences of the years that they won. And, you know, Down always come here and play with this great swagger and self-confidence, but, you know, sometimes that self-confidence can be skin deep as well, because we want to see Down under pressure today, to see Cork in front and what really Down are about, you know, because Cork needs